Okay, Deborah, so really good that you have a bend already, obviously. And I like that you're proofing and you've thought about what signal that you're using to give this trick so that you don't confuse Flash. It's looking awesome. So let's go and have a look at your work. Okay, so first thing is very nice job getting him very straight in front of you. So he's pretty much even to you, which is awesome. It makes it heaps easier. The first bit of feedback I'd like to give you specifically is, I know you've tried to straighten him up, but the first time he starts to do a bow, again, he's actually crooked. He's got his front feet crooked and he's got his back feet really crooked. I think it'll help him strength-wise a lot if you really ensure that every time you do the bow that he's even through his body. So that's the first bit of feedback I'd like to give you. The next thing is, what I want you to do is I want you to watch what you're doing with your hand here. So what I'm seeing is some inconsistency there with your hand signal. Your hand's bopping around, your hand's going from a fist, which you said was your hand signal, with a pointed finger. I think if you make that a little bit more clear with your hand signal and keep it still, it's going to let Flash make the decision and really think about what he's doing more instead of being distracted with this hand that's waving around. So be more consistent with what your hand is doing. You can also see here he's straightened his legs up and made himself even, which is excellent. You can also see, if Rochelle's watching this, that his legs are supporting his body nicely with their position, and his back's relatively straight going into it. So he's set up well to do a nice, good, strong bow. Okay, so that's looking excellent. He's nice and straight through the front. He's supporting nicely with toes flicking out a tiny bit, but not too much. And he's nice through the body. So his actual bow is looking fantastic. Okay, next bit of feedback for you. Really important with your agility as well, and I know you're having issues with contacts. So right here, it's a little bit hard because I can't hear, but what I think is happening is, if we watch your mouth and your hand, your mouth is opening with your hand movement. What I think that's happening is that Flash is actually releasing on your hand motion as opposed to what your mouth is saying. I want you to spend more time proofing this. So what I'd expect to see is your hand up here and Flash still in a bow until you give his release cue. So I want you to think more about your hand motion. Okay, I can't tell what you're saying here, unfortunately. I'm guessing it's about you changing your hand cue. So let's have a look at the next one. So the next one, again, a piece of feedback for you with him building strength is, you haven't waited until he is nicely lined up and even through the feet before you've asked for the bow. So get him really, really straight and even before you ask for the bow. See how he's throwing himself into the bow, flicking his front feet out. Although that's okay, we're being really picky here to build up strength for him. So it's actually not going to build as much strength up throwing himself up as opposed to standing nicely and lowering down. Again, his actual bow's looking really good, nice and straight, nice back position, nice support through the rear end. And that pop up into the stand from the bow was actually quite nice. So that motion there we're looking at. See how his front feet and back feet are staying in exactly the same position, and he's rotating up through the stand. This is excellent for muscle strength and really important for building that. And again with Flash, weave issues might be helped with building some strength through those front shoulders. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Okay, now we have Cora about to come and help. Good distraction training there. So let's see, here we go, very helpful, Cora, good job. Okay. And again, I think this one is actually better because your hand is still, and I think he's just going off your vocal cue, which is excellent. Again, he's bowing really, really well. So what I think the next steps for Flash is you need to be in a different position. I think he's moved past the stage where he's proofing, holding the bow quite nicely until he's released. I think you need to push him harder. So what I'd like to see for the next video, if you have time, is you up and moving around and him maintaining his bow. The other thing I'd really like him to see is he looks quite strong through the rear. I'd like you to see you take one of those extra options to advance his bow. I think a really good one for him will be, because he needs some rear end awareness to help with weaves and help with contacts, and also he needs to build up strength in both areas. So I think a really nice option for him is going to be to get him to put his back feet onto a small box, a little plank, so he's got his rear feet up slightly. And then what I'd like you to do is to do those puppy push-ups that we talked about. So going from a stand and then going down into almost a bow, but elbows not quite hitting the ground, and back up. So he's going to be going up and then back down again. So I think that's the option that you should look at shaping, because it's going to give Flash the most help with his issues at the moment in agility. I look forward to seeing the next video. Thanks.